Okay, so I've studied what the US UFO report probably will read based on the leaks and such, and I've formulated some opinions on it. And it seems that people don't fully grasp what the report is going to say. They don't understand the significance of it. They think the US is going with the meh, or that the report will be underwhelming. It will be everything but underwhelming if it will follow the rough outline that I have seen it probably to follow. Now, when you see a UFO in the modern world, UAP is supposed to be the word, but fuck that word, I'm going to use UFO. When you see a UFO in the modern world, the basic explanation that the skeptics offer is that it is some form of military test or some form of misidentified normal phenomena, such as weather report, weather balloon, swamp gas, US flying the B-52 or whatever. Now, this has been the standard response to any UFO report for over 50 years. If this US military report says, amongst other things, that it's not US testing when they see these high-end UFO encounters, that they know, because they are the US military, that it's not the US military testing something. These are, that will completely overturn one of those skeptic points. If they then say that they have physical mass because they have radar contact with them, they can't be something like a weather phenomena that we understand. That leaves weather phenomena that we don't as a species understand, and that's basically what a UFO is in one respect. It can be ball lightning, but it can't be swamp gas. It can't be any weather phenomena that we understand. It has to be something completely alien. Now, that'll destroy the second skeptic point. And if the US also says that the technology exhibited by these craft, based on how fast we've developed abilities to go from one space to another, such as with a rocket booster aircraft, that these are at least 100 years ahead of us in technology, that leaves basically 2 or 3 options which can be considered. It is some form of other countries' technical development, which means there's a country that is at least 100 years ahead of the rest of us in development, and they haven't used those powers to either help us or take us over. So that completely destroys the global order, the global understanding that the US is the top dog. If it's China, for example, then we have to completely reevaluate our understanding of China, because they have a technological advantage of hundreds of years and they haven't used it to take over us. They are using their regular military technology to mess with us, but they're not using the stuff that we think they would have if it's China. That leaves the minor nations which like to hide, and that's one possibility. But then we have minor groups which are hundreds of years ahead of us in technology and still subject to our pogroms, which mean they don't even use their technology to defend themselves from our hunting behavior, which means certain ethical ramifications which are in and of themselves interesting. Now, if it's not another country, that leaves 2 other options: some form of weather phenomena, which I believe most people will gravitate towards as a theory, but that means things like ball lightning or something of that magnitude can travel 20 times the speed of sound easily, and that completely changes things like how we do our construction engineering and things of that nature, that can still be the option that we gravitate towards, but that is still within the realm of what we in the UFO community call a UFO. It is something we don't understand. It's not swamp gas. And the last thing is that it's some form of intelligence that we cannot fathom or copy. We don't have the ability. Now, when you talk to a skeptic about a UFO, if this report has the outline that it seems like to have, that they are physical objects, we have radar, we have eyewitness accounts, we have gun pod camera accounts, and we have satellites of the same UFO, meaning that it is physical. That removes much of the conspiracy theories surrounding it. And if they also say that it is not the US military testing some form of secret weapon system, then while there are many options, the three I mentioned, it is most likely something that we really do not understand, and that is the classical definition of a UFO. In that case, the two main options that come around, if it's not some form of weather phenomena that we cannot understand, which is possible, but considering our understanding of the weather system on this planet, a little unlikely. That leaves basically two options: an alien intelligence inside humanity or an alien intelligence outside humanity. And if these reports have the notes that I hope they will have, which is it's not the US testing military equipment, it's physical, and it has flight characteristics which are not suitable for it to be a natural phenomena far as we understand nature, then it is the classical UFO. It is exactly what we were talking about, hoping that they would announce. And there is no other way to announce it, because if they say they know it's from Zeta Reticuli, then they have the answer and have been hiding it, which is the worst one. If they don't know what it is and they openly say it's not one of theirs, there is no other word to describe it than UFO. That is exactly what the UFO researchers have been talking about. And the skeptics will be forced to a position where they have to rely on conspiracy theories. They have to explain why those government officials are lying. They will get to the point where it's a conspiracy. They will have to assume that somebody is committing a conspiracy to hide their activities. And they will, as I have noticed talking to these skeptics, do so seamlessly. They will believe that it is some form of conspiracy rather than admit what the US in this report seems to admit, that they don't know. That is the cornerstone of knowledge, that you don't know. If it is truly reported to be unknown, that they do not know what it is, that it is truly reported to be unknown, then if humanity has any common sense, SETI will get 100 times its current funding, METI will get 100 times its current funding, and the US will take the Space Force seriously. Now, that to me is exactly the kind of first contact scenario that we were kind of hoping for. It would be exactly along the lines of what we hoped for. It would demystify the UFO contactee phenomena, and it would shut up the skeptics, not the scientists, but the skeptics. And that would result in us openly admitting as a planet that we are in contact with something we do not understand. The first step would be to try to analyze it from the point of view of weather. Perhaps it is a ball lightning. Perhaps it is some kind of plasmatic reaction which we do not understand about the weather, and so on and so forth. If it's not one of those, the options remaining are slim. It can be the aliens inside us, as in some kind of planetary alien system, planetary energy grid, something along those lines, whereby our understanding of what it means to be human and sentient is so lacking that it could very well be the cow civilization, if you will. that will result in the traditional alien contact where we go to the cows and go like, hello, moo. And if it's an alien outside of ourselves, that will also result in the same typical alien contact. So in short, don't expect the report to say they come from Zeta Reticuli or something where they explain where they are from and what they are. If the report says that they don't know what it is physical, and it is beyond the flight capacities of the US special researchers, and it is not made by the US special researcher, that is exactly what we were talking about. It is a UFO. We are not yet saying aliens because there are options, such as hidden aspects of humanity, but that is exactly what we were talking about that we are seeing. That is the cornerstone of the UFO philosophy. It is something we do not understand. It is physical, capable of doing things that we do not understand, and it is not made by humans. That is the definition of an alien. So I will end this here. This will be a short one, but that is the extent of what I want to say about this. There's about a week to this report, and if the report says things that I mentioned there, then the skeptics lost and we won. It is as simple as that. Good day.